Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to PS This Is Awesome, episode 419, I believe it is. My name is Jake the Snake Peters, famously known as the evil twin of Jake the Snake Roberts from WWF fame back in the day. I think that was his last name, right? That was his last name? Jake Roberts?
Yeah, that was his name.
So, awesome. Dude, WWF used to be so fucking cool back in the day. The characters they had were just awesome.
Loco beware.
Yeah. And I've been thinking about it. So, because recently when I've been watching hockey, there's been this like these car shield commercials, and Ric Flair is the guy that's on the car shield commercials, and he's fucking ancient now. So like he's doing all the Nature Boy shit, but he's like fucking like 60 some years old. It's so funny. I mean, I think that they're the cheesiest commercials, but they're funny. So I can appreciate that. Anyway, this is a PlayStation podcast. We talk about video games every week. Mostly,
I gotta ask real quick.
What's
I'm
up?
so sorry. Do you remember Jimmy the Superfly Snuka?
Jimmy Snuka. Yeah. I don't remember what he looks
awesome.
like, but
He was so acrobatic. He was awesome. All right.
Anyway, the voice that you're hearing is the newly vocalized Fred Oakman, who still is having some lighting trouble on his end. However, he's got his new old microphone back up and running, so he's not using the Mac mic anymore. Not that it was too bad, but the real deal is always a little bit better. So we'll see how this goes. We're still kind of fighting some technical difficulties. We're getting started about 20 minutes later than we should have probably, but it is what it is. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome. We've got the one and only $1 club. For $1 a month, you get some early access to the show, and you get your name shouted out. You get a free die-cut vinyl sticker that's pretty rad that you can, I don't know, stick on your mom's minivan or put it on the office fridge or slap it in a bathroom stall at your favorite concert venue, which is always cool to see. And it gives us a little bit of love, which you always appreciate. But if you don't want to give us $1, if you don't have change in your couch like the rest of us do, just listen for free. It's fucking fine. Listen on Wednesday on YouTube or wherever you want to listen or watch. And you probably want to listen, because if you watch, you have to look at us, and that's probably not all that exciting. But it is sometimes fun to look and laugh. You can see all the technical bullshit that we have to deal with just to get shit going on YouTube. We're fucking amateurs over here, even though we're 419 episodes into this.
So, we're not amateurs. Like, it's crazy all the setups that we have. Like, we've got like pop filters and nice mics, and I've got this fucking 16-channel mixer. And I'm just like, we still can't get it to work. I mean, It's not because we're amateurs. It's just everythingsucks.com.
Everythingsucks.com. That is correct. So anyway, that out of the way, the weather is fucking beautiful today. It was not so great earlier, but right now, as the time I got home, it was 80 degrees and sunny, which is insane for what is April 13th. And I like to see it. A little windy because we got some stormage, kind of brewing at this time of year. It's always a thing, right? But I'm already long-time listeners of the podcast know the trials and tribulations of yard work that we talk about on this podcast. And I am fucking balls deep already. I spent... Between Saturday and Sunday, I think I spent 8 or 10 hours on yard work. And because I had to do my yard and all of my stuff, and then my parents aren't back from Florida yet, so I drove up to their place and did their whole yard, and they have a rental property up there. I mowed all that, and I cleaned up sticks for them and put them all away and did all this stuff. So, it's getting going. But I am so looking forward to the weather being nice again. I was surprised, like every day. Fred, I'll ask you how you're doing in a minute. Don't worry. You know how, like, this time of year, as soon as it gets, usually it's like in March or late February, as soon as there's like one little teeny nice day, you see fucking psychopaths out on their motorcycles, like, all over the place. None of them,
it's inevitable.
None of them are wearing fucking helmets. It's all crazy, because the only people that go out that time of year are the fucking crazy ones. And today, I come home, it's beautiful. It's super warm out. Super sunny. There's a little bit of wind, but it's very nice. Didn't see a single motorcycle on my way home from work today. It's like we're in the freaking bizarro upside down world. People realize that maybe they shouldn't be riding this early or something. I'm not sure. That out of the way, Fred, how are you today in your new location?
I'm okay today. I worked all day. I will say this, I saw two crazy bastards on motorcycles, and they were like real deal, like dudes. Like the dude had the ape hangers, and he was like in shape. He was like this younger dude, no helmet, backwards hat, shades on.
Oh yeah, of course.
Leather jacket, wallet chain, boots. He looked like he was in a gang.
They gotta have the backwards hat. And if they don't
wear it forward because it'll come off your head.
If they don't have the leather vest or jacket on, they're rocking like the fucking t-shirt with the ripped off sleeves.
Yeah.
And they got the sunglasses on, you know. Yeah, I see. I know what you're talking about exactly.
And in shape guy too, not like your typical like fatty on a bike.
Dude,
like,
you had guns out, or you have a jacket on?
No, he had a flannel on. Safety, and then he had he was behind me for a while in 322 just pushing me, going like 75.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that dude just can't wait to die.
Yeah, I know. The roads are so fucking bad right now.
The deer moving right now on the I saw this hawk or something in the middle of the road. I didn't know it was alive because when there's a down bird on the road and it's fresh, the wind's blowing and it looks like their feathers are just flying around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This thing was like doing one of these as I passed, and it's like, that poor guy. I should have went back and ran him over, but
just should have. I mean, he finished him off.
He was really in pain, right in the middle, right on the double yellow. But I'm doing all right, man. I watched the remake of Anaconda, which was hilarious on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't, but I was interested in it because isn't it like from the perspective of people whose favorite movie is Anaconda from the 90s, and
so it's a comedy.
So they want to remake it.
Jack Black is in it, and so is Paul Rudd, and they're all having a hard go at life. And Paul Rudd tells them that he got the rights to Anaconda. And they were gonna go film. They were like, Paul Rudd was like a B movie. Like he was always the guy in the background in like nice good movies. So like he's, has some experience. He's not the greatest. Jack Black is filming wedding videos, and these guys grew up like being like buddies, wanting to make movies their whole lives. And Paul Rudd gets the rights to Anaconda, and they go out to the bayou to film it. And it's a comedy. Everything just goes haywire, and it's absolutely hilarious. It was good. It was a really neat premise. It was a premise about a bunch of guys making the movie that you think you're watching. It was kind of fun, kind of meta, cool. So I don't know that, and the Menzingers just played in Erie on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It was sold out. We got a new venue in town, Centennial Hall. My buddy, dude, Matt McRae, AutoStar Productions It did it for real, man, and we're playing a banger show there in November, and I'm not going to spill the beans on it, but it's going to be rad. And I don't know, dude. It's nice that some of these bigger bands are now able to play in Erie, which is not far. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Oh, brother. Had a couple people look at the house recently, so that's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, so we'll see about that. People who said they're going to put an offer in, but we haven't gotten the offer yet, so it's just like, all right, I'll believe when I see it. But yeah, so just a lot of stuff like that going on. I feel like there was... Oh, I'm selling my original VR headset with the PlayStation camera.
Yeah.
I know people say not to get rid of that stuff, dude, but I have so much stuff in storage right now. Like, I'm just trying to downsize. And I put it on Facebook Marketplace for $75. And I know that seems kind of cheap compared to probably what other people are selling them for, the first VR headsets, but to me, like, it seems, yeah, take it. I still have the original box, but I had someone from Erie reach out to me who wanted it, but they weren't willing to drive to Meadville to pick it up. And they're like, you hold it. And it's a dude who's a mutual friend of people that we know, or that I know at least. So I was like, yeah, I'll hold it, but it's still not sold. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. So I'm kind of frustrated by that. So I might reach back out to him and be like, yo, dude, are you coming to get this shit or not? Otherwise, listeners, $75. You want to take a road trip from Australia.
You could ship it, but that costs extra.
Yeah, and I hate packing shit, dude. I hate packing shit to mail.
I was actually looking at my VR headset over the weekend.
Which one?
The new one, the VR2. Because I was thinking, I was like, I had it, and it's sitting there in the living room just fucking collecting dust because I just have it sitting there out of the box. And I was like, maybe I'll hop on Gran Turismo or something like that and just zip around for a little bit. And then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, and then I gotta move my coffee table, and then I gotta go get a chair, and then I gotta plug this fucking thing in, and then I gotta calibrate it, and then I gotta get all set up, and then I'm blind and I won't be able to take a sip of my drink because I got this fucking headset on. And it's just like, I just talked myself out of it in like approximately 2.5 seconds. Yeah. And it sucks because it is really a cool piece of technology. But yeah, the first gen one, the PSVR one, like if you have a new one, there's literally no point in owning the first one, other than the fact that you can't play some of the VR games from the first one on the second one.
Then you gotta have a PS4 setup or PS3 setup to use. Or
yeah, PS4 or like the PS5 with the fucking camera dongle, which who the hell wants to do that? So yeah, just so you could go back and play VR Rescue Mission sometime. It's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Or Wipeout Mega Collection on VR was amazing.
Yeah, I can't believe they haven't ported VR Rescue Mission. Astrobot Rescue. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's a fucking first party game. Why would you not port it to the new VR headset? I have no idea. But I don't know. That out of the way, let's talk about something. I don't know. What are we talking about here? Usually we talk about listener feedback first. Fred, I see you captured some stuff here.
Yeah. Yep.
Got a couple of our buddies here. First one, Prescript_N. We haven't heard from him in a while. He says, great to have Fred back. Was definitely missing his input, even though Jake always does a fantastic job holding down the fort when necessary. Been enjoying the Resident Evil talk. Always feels like you guys have great conversations when you're playing the same games, and especially when you're really enjoying them. I recently played the main series Dark Pictures anthology games, and I'm really excited about Directive 8020. After this alien/sci-fi themed game is there, is there any themes or tropes you guys would like to see them explore in one of the future games? I assume what he means. He also has a note here that says, also, it was pretty hilarious when Fred started drilling in the middle of the episode. Yeah, that's professionalism at work there on PS. This is awesome.
I know what we're doing.
But so I assume what he means is like in the horror space when it comes to, you know, tropes of horror, like types of horror movies and shows and TV and all that stuff. Would you like to see Supermassive make something that hasn't been done before? So I was thinking about this, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I was thinking of something, and maybe they have done this, so correct me because I haven't played any of the Dark Picture shit. But I was thinking of either something a little bit more correct me if I'm wrong here. Did you play the most recent one they did that was The Quarry? Did you play that?
Oh yeah.
So can you say kind of like thematically what the thrilling part of it is without being spoilery with that, or no?
It's pretty routine. It's just like these kids are in this house, this big house, and
but is it like there's like a murderer or something? Like okay, so
kinda, yeah.
Okay, so my initial thought was like maybe they could do something like really tropey slasher, kind of like a Friday the 13th or like a but I was thinking a little bit more spooky, like a Nightmare on Elm Street would be kind of a cool similar, where it's like it crosses the genre between real life shit going on and like freaky dreamscape shit going on. Like Friday the 13th is like a really cool, not Friday the 13th, I'm sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street was a cool kind of thing in terms of that stuff because of how freaky they could make it. It's almost like if you think about Silent Hill, right? One of the things, and coincidentally, one of the things I didn't like about Silent Hill is just how bananas it got at the end. But I think that like that's kind of what Nightmare on Elm Street is, where it's just, it could be, the stage could be whatever you want because it's in these teenagers' dreams. And I think that's a cool kind of concept for something like that. And I don't know, do you have anything like that you would like to see them do?
I've got something. I think one of the things, I like it when they're scary, and I am excited about the Alien theme one for sure. Directive 8020 looks awesome. So Prescriptin, I'm glad you're playing these games. If you haven't played any of the other Supermassive titles, dude, I would also be curious to hear what you thought about was it the Murder House? The one before the Quarry, or the I gotta see what they're called now. Supermassive. What are these called again? The what games?
Dark Pictures.
Dark Pictures anthology titles. And then I'll tell you what I think I would love. I would love to see. So they had The Man of Medan, Little Hope, House of Ashes, and The Devil. The Devil in Me was, I thought, 2022. I thought it wasn't great, but then the more I played it, the more I really, really liked it. Well, what's interesting is I see this thing. Are they doing this many more? Like, I don't know if this is a joke or what, but they have the Dark Pictures, The Craven Man, Oh Death, Intercession, Directive 8020, and Winterfold.
I think they were signed by Bandai for like fucking 8 games or something. So yeah. It might be that there's shit more coming. And I think 8020 is a Dark Pictures game, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Or at least it's in the universe. So
Intercession. Dude, the Intercession may cross into what I'm hoping they do, because there's like this kind of, for the T, there's like this almost like a crusade upside down cross. It looks like it could venture into spiritualism or like religion. I think what they need to do is have this awesome version of a storyline that arcs where you're like a priest or an exorcist or something, and you have to visit different houses and you make different choices, and like depending on how you do and how you communicate with like the demon or whatever, like maybe like you slowly become infected or you get taken over, and like you're fighting internally, like your character, you know, with like doing bad things. Like I love the idea of like a partially possessed exorcist. From things gone wrong, but like not in today's era, but like I would like to see it in like the medieval times or something, where like there's like, you know, you go to different like castles and realms, and you're trying to like, that would be awesome. Just the setting would be cool.
It would be really neat. And because the other thing that I was actually thinking about was, so I had a couple other things. One was like a Hellraiser type game, but one, they're making a Hellraiser game, and two, which actually looks pretty cool, and two, I think it's very similar in like the Nightmare on Elm Street kind of like bizarro fucking world shit that goes on in that game. It's just a little bit more like body horror, like freaky shit. But the other thing that actually jumped to mind before any of that was like the Blair Witch, which I know, I know that somebody else did a Blair Witch game not that long ago, but you know, some of the fucking creepiest movies are movies like, you know, where you're talking about, you know, cults that live in the woods that fucking sacrifice people, or like think about the what was that cult in The Last of Us Part 2?
I don't remember what they were called.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like people like that have just gone off the fucking deep end, and they're just like doing rituals and like ritual magic, and or like the Blair Witch, the Seraphites, that's right. Something like that I think would be really cool too. Now maybe they've touched on that, and because I know that's pretty tropey of a, you know, a thing, but I do like the idea of something like what you're talking about. Now, one thing that I think is going to be maybe very similar to Directive 8020 that I always thought would be cool would be something like John Carpenter's The Thing, which is, I think Directive 8020, I could be wrong, it's been a long time since I watched a trailer, but it seems like it's almost going to be like The Thing in space, which is kind of a cool idea. And I really do want to get back to playing these types of games. Like I have been over the weekend. I was thinking about maybe getting back into, because that new Life is Strange game came out that brought the original cast back, brought Chloe back and stuff, called, I think it's Reunion or something like that. Yeah. And I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll jump back into that. And then, you know, I've thought about this where it's like, I don't know that I want to play all the Dark Pictures games, but I think Directive 8020 looks really good. So I might give that a try. And then there's that Telltale Expanse, which I thought looked kind of neat maybe. And obviously, like recently, this type of game, what I really loved was Dispatch, which was like just from a quality perspective better than most I've played. But it doesn't have the same sort of adventure walk around kind of thing that most of the Dark Pictures games have, or the Telltale games or whatever. So yeah, I think that any of those things would be cool. And I noticed that Prescript, and I was hoping that you would drop your own as far as something that you thought would be really cool in this kind of genre, because you kind of brought up the question. But yeah, I think that those are our kind of things. I'm trying to think if there's any other horror tropes. Not really. I mean, there's plenty of them, right? Like they didn't, like, have they done any real, I guess they did some kind of monster movie shit with some of them, but the real, it should be something like, get it, like you take your car to get inspected and you don't know what the fucking bill's gonna be, and then at the same time you get the bill back, gas goes to fucking $4.50 a gallon like it is right now, and then blah 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 blah. But anyway, obviously
like falling down with
yeah,
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm just being fucking stupid. But anyway, I hope that answers your question, Prescriptern. Hope you're nursing good out there. And or no, he's a pharmacist, right? Not a nurse. That's correct.
He's writing prescriptons.
He's writing prescriptons. Okay. So we did get another inquiry from our boy Ryan Betson. He's the bro from Down Under, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I thought so. Hey, gents, just checking in.
This was 4 weeks ago, by the way.
Where was this at?
Patreon.
Oh, okay. Guys, like I mentioned before, like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I was looking for a lot of this stuff, but I don't know how to find some of it. So usually I just look on YouTube, and if it's not on there, I just kind of give up. But I apologize, Mr. Betson. Maybe one of these days I'll hit you up for this. Just checking in and hoping you are both well. I'm sorry, I had a burp. Fingers crossed if Fred is dealing with this isn't too gnarly. Look forward to hearing back on the show. If Jake needs a second voice in the time away, I'm happy to try and make it work and join the chat. Smiley face. And then Fred responded on here. Ryan, thanks so much, man. We need to have you on. Let's get it sorted out and make it happen, dude. Tag Fred. Yes, Ryan, it'd be cool to have you on the show. I just hope you know that if I'm controlling Discord, whenever you come on the show, I'm going to make your video upside down. So just keep that in mind, being in Australia.
What if he hangs upside down in real life so that when you turn it upside down, it's right side?
That's fair play. But he's going to turn blue by the end of the episode, probably.
Yeah.
So I apologize, people who are watching on YouTube. Fred, I know that you've probably dealt with this before too, but every so often when I pull up the document, it unfocuses Discord, and so it like freezes your video, and then I have to refocus Discord and it starts working again. So I apologize for the video listeners who occasionally see Fred's face go wonky. That's just how he was born. Blame his parents. Anyway, you have any thoughts for Ryan before we move on?
No, man, Ryan, totally. Credit where credit's due, man. A while back, for the longtime listeners, Ryan wrote in and gave us the whole Discord idea to do this on Discord. So that was all Ryan. So thank you, dude. We do appreciate that. I don't think we would have thought of that ourselves. I really am not being facetious. I really mean that. We probably would have either stopped the show or quit doing video, or we would have like made some other kind of crazy hack job to make it work.
What were we using? We weren't using. Were we using Zoom?
No. Yeah, maybe we were using Zencaster. No, what were we using?
We were using Zencaster before we went to video, I think.
I honestly can't remember what we were using. Podbean.
Podbean was our distribution platform. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Thanks, bro. You're welcome on the show anytime. Although I think it's like a fucking 12-hour time difference. So we'd have to figure that shit out. We'd probably have to do it on the weekends or something crazy. Anyway, now that we're out of that, let's talk about the games we're playing. Fred, I'm going to go first because I know you finished up Resident Evil and I want to chat about that together. I'm playing Crimson Desert still, and I got to be honest, I don't really like this game, and it's making me really upset because the world is beautiful and I love just kind of running around it, but the game just cannot get out of its own way with the fucking missions at the beginning of this game. It is so boring. It's so boring. I don't know. It's just like you go to the you go to the fucking camp and you talk to a guy and he's like, I think there's a guy out there that should be part of the camp, and you're like, okay. So you go over to where he says on the map, and there's no like intuitive mission structure or like a reason for you to go this particular location. He's just like, I think I saw a guy over in this district, and then the fucking map marker just tells you exactly where to go. And then you get over there and the guy is just like, oh, good to see ya, let's go back to camp. And then you just fucking go back to camp, and it's like, okay, why did I just do this? I don't know. And like I just did a mission for excuse me, for like fucking half an hour where I was just rebuilding a furnace. I'm 10 hours into the game and I'm still doing this shit. Like I thought that it would like, I don't know if I'm quite that long, but PlayStation, the cross media bar says that I've played it for like 8 or 10 hours. It's like, I've heard that, yeah, it gets really slow at the beginning, but then it picks up. But it's like, guys, I just fucking let me play the game. Like, give me something cool to do. Give me something fun to do. You got this big-ass open world. You just cram all these fucking systems in it so that you have to spend 10 hours teaching me how to fucking lift shit with my magic hand and slam it together and stuff. I get it. This game was an MMO first, and then they converted it into a single-player game. And I just don't know. It's like, especially since earlier this year, I guess it would have been late last year, I played Ghost of Yotei, and that game is fucking masterpiece.
I need to play that.
And so going from that to jumping into this kind of open world action game, both of them have beautiful worlds, but one of them is way more focused, way more polished on the narrative, and then just like it had its hooks in me from day one when I started playing it. This game, it's like every time I start it up, I got to tell myself, like, just keep playing it, you'll get into it. Just keep playing it, you'll get into it. And every single fucking 10 minutes, they're throwing a new system at me or a new fucking widget that I got to learn how to use. And it's just, it's bumming me out because I spent, whatever, $70 on this game. But it's not even that I spent the money. Like, I'm happy to support the developer, like, for a new thing. It's just like, they've been working on this game for, like, fucking 8 years.
Yeah.
And it's like you didn't have to do all this shit. You could have just not did all this shit. Cut out, I'm not even fucking around, cut out 50 to 60% of the systems in this game. Just focus on, like, the combat in the characters in the story and give me, like they've got a tree that lets you learn new abilities and stuff. Leave that in there, that's fine. But, like, leave all, you know, and just focus on making a really good narrative and stuff. Like, and it doesn't have to be this AAA shit. Like, and it should be AAA because it's a $70 game and they spent 8 years on it. But it doesn't have to be this, like, Naughty Dog or Sucker Punch level thing. But you could have spent a little bit more time on that. And the whole time I'm running around, it's like, it's got this jank to it that's like, a lot of it is based on how the controls work. Like, dude, this game, we figured out how fucking third-person action controls work. You press the left stick to run. You press X or cross to jump. You press circle to duck or crawl or sneak or whatever. This game has you pressing the left stick in to sneak. You have to tap the X button to run, like I'm playing fucking Grand Theft Auto from 20 years ago. And the like, some of the actions are tied, like in combat, are tied to like pressing the sticks down, and you have to do these combinations of the buttons with the shoulder buttons and the face buttons, and it's just, it's too much, man. I just wanted, you know, I wanted it to be just a little bit more straightforward of an experience where I could just, like, run around this huge, just open, beautiful world and just kind of suck it in. But most of my time is spent just, like, doing these shitty gopher quests and just being frustrated with it. So I'm going to keep playing it a little bit more. I have been seeing good things about Pragmata, which comes out on Friday. But I don't know. I might just wait until Saros comes out next week, or actually Thursday, that Mouse PI for Hire game comes out, which also looks fucking awesome. But I need to see some reviews and stuff on that before I commit. So anyway, that's where I'm at. If I got it, like, right now, if I had to give you a recommendation, I would say if you want something that you can kind of run around in for a while, that's beautiful to look at, but you don't really care that the narrative is kind of whatever and the quests are kind of whatever, then maybe give it a shot. But I would definitely recommend that if you're interested in this game, you wait till it goes on sale, because I just can't, at least the way that I feel about it right now, I can't recommend it at full price. Not that I'm not disappointed that I spent the money. Like I said, they can't all be bangers, and, you know, it is nice to kind of support a developer. And to be fair to them, they're patching the game like every fucking day or every other day. So they are listening to feedback and trying to change things to make it better. But I think there's some fundamental stuff about this game. Like, they can't fix the fact that it takes 8 to 10 hours to get through the fucking tutorial shit in like the world building missions. And that's really unfortunate for them, because I think a lot of players are going to roll off of this game because of that. So anyway,
for sure.
Fred,
Yeah.
you beat Resident Evil Requiem. You texted me. You said you did both endings. Tell me how you feel about it after beating the game. Did you just fucking do a clap on Discord?
I did. I beat Resident Evil.
Okay. Because and here's how I want to
Be awesome.
Here's how I want to frame it for you. I didn't realize there was like a fucking soundboard kind of thing in Discord. That's funny. So have your feelings on the game changed at all now that you've gotten through the end portion of the game? What did you think of the way that they wrapped up the story? Because I know there was some stuff that you hadn't gotten to yet the last time we talked that I knew kind of flipped the script a little bit.
Yeah, my gripe with it. Yeah, go ahead.
And then the last thing was, what did you think about the two different endings? Because I thought, I don't want to spoil it here for the audience unless we want to put brackets around it and tell people to skip. But
we could say there's a longer ending and a shorter ending, right?
I would say a good ending and a bad ending, right? A canon ending and a not canon ending, almost certainly, right? So, tell me how you're feeling.
It is a good game. I'll say it's a good game. Took me about 11 hours to beat.
Wow, you blasted through it. It took me like 14 and a half, I think, the first time I beat it.
Wow. I did end up, because of everything going on with my house, my PlayStation's still at the house, which is why I had the Vita where I'm at now. Or not the Vita, but the Portal. And I wanted to get through it for the podcast, so I powered up the Portal, and I was like, man, well, I got a ways to go. And I was like right at a cutscene at the very end. And I was like, well, I guess I'll do this. And then I chose to do the non-canon ending, not realizing that that's what it was. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Okay.
I did the exact same thing.
I can't believe.
Like whenever I was picking it, I was like, I bet this is the wrong answer, but I'm gonna pick it because that's the one I think I should pick. And exactly, yeah, I did exactly what you did.
I was like, huh. And I'll be honest, I kind of was okay with it before I even had the option to do a different ending. And then the game's just like, hey, the ending you experienced, there's an alternate ending. We can restart you back up from that decision so you can try the other ending. And I loved that.
Yeah, it's
I was
cool.
like, I didn't have to have a save file. I didn't have to go back into the menu. And it just said, you want to check the other ending, press this button now to check it out. You're not going to lose any progress. I'll let you play the other ending. Dude, love that.
Yeah.
Totally respected me. It was like, well, and I would imagine had I picked the other ending first, I would have still gotten that option. I would think so. I don't know, but I would think so.
I think so.
So I went and played the other ending, and it kind of ended in true Resident Evil fashion. With there's one last big thing you got to do. And I will say that was kind of a difficult fight using the portal remotely. But I was able to do it.
How was that remotely using the portal? Like, was there significant lag or?
It felt like the third of the new series of Tomb Raiders when it was released with the input lag. Like that game was almost unplayable for me when it came out. The input lag was so bad. But I expected it using the portal, and I don't have my PlayStation hardwired. So surprisingly, though, I was able to get through that, and I only died once.
Wow.
So it couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
Right? But, and then that ending happened, and I was like, oh, all right. But I didn't read all the documentation that both of the endings open up for you to read after the game's over.
I didn't. There's the when you do the good ending, there's like Grace's final report where it's
I wanted to read it.
Where it's like but it's like 60 pages long or some shit. So like
I'm gonna read it. Maybe I'll read it tonight.
Yeah, I would see if I could pull it up on my phone and read it there because I didn't want to read it on my TV. That's the only reason why I didn't read it.
Yeah, but I liked the game. I thought it was fun. I thought it was worth playing. I did. You mentioned the missile launcher before, the RPG thing or whatever. That's the only reason I was able to beat that last boss.
Oh, dude, you need 2 rockets to beat him. One to get him to transform and one to kill him. It's like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, this works.
So did you buy it or did you find it in the game?
He pulled out the RPG and I shot it out of his hands.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know you could do that. I did hear that somewhere, but I didn't know how you did it.
Yeah, he pulled out the RPG. I used a machine gun on him. He dropped it, and I was like, "What's this?" And then I tried to equip it, but my inventory was full, so I had to like get rid of like ammo for all my other guns.
Yeah.
To create room. And I shot him with the RPG, and that was the game over. Boom, over.
Yeah, dude.
And I beat it. But I will say also, there is something that I love about inventories like this in Resident Evil games.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like a mini Tetris game where you just like however you can slide stuff and angle stuff to keep it like squish it all in your inventory. Dude, I love that. It's fun to do. There's something really rewarding when you looks like you're not going to have enough space, but you were able to maneuver all of your inventory items in such a way that you can free up 6 open cells once to another. You know, you can cram like a new gun in there or whatever. I love that.
It's like a mini game. You know what's funny is it wasn't until like my 3rd playthrough that I realized that you could rotate items. I had no idea. No, granted, I didn't even because you could do that auto sort thing.
Yeah,
and
it
I would
always
just
work though.
I would just kind of do that and just say whatever. But yeah, I didn't realize you could rotate items, which is funny.
Yeah. But I liked it, dude. I'm happy I bought it and played it. So I don't know what's next. I'm going on my trip to Williamsport beginning of May. I'll probably play Unicorn Overlord there. I thought about maybe getting Marvel whatever Suns.
Oh, Midnight Suns, yeah.
Because I think that would be a good Portal game.
Supposedly it's really good, so
my brother loved it, and I think it's more like an XCOM kind of style, turn-based fighting game, story fighting, whatever. So strategy, I might try that from the hotel room. We'll see.
Well, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear it because I don't need to gush about it anymore. But like I mentioned previously on the podcast, it's like I fucking loved it. It's my favorite game probably since I played Ghost of Yote last year. So really, really dig it. All right, so let's jump into the news here and get on with our evening. News point number 1. Benson Russell, a former employee of Naughty Dog, mentioned in a recent interview with Kiwi Talks that the company has, for the most part, given up on eliminating crunch from their process. They're chalking it up to the cost of doing business at their level. And he says, quote, "After The Last of Us, it was just an admission in a meeting. It was like, well, we've come to realize this is what it takes to make games at our level. If you don't want to do that, we understand. We'll write you a great letter of recommendation." And so this is like a kind of like a whatever news point, but this dude is from Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog makes probably, they're still, until they've proven otherwise, they're still probably the best developer in the industry. And just from a purely objective, this is a good piece of art / video game. And they do crunch there. And there's all this shit in this talk in the industry about how bad crunch is, and nobody should have to crunch and yada yada yada. And I kind of wanted to just chat just a little bit about it because everyone, I think that I just want to say that I think that the way that Naughty Dog is approaching this, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. Personally, I don't have a problem with crunch at a studio as long as it's optional and as long as it is rewarded and not like people aren't just being taken advantage of. And it sounds like, based on this interview, that was the case. Basically, just to kind of paraphrase, if you worked at Naughty Dog and you crunched on The Last of Us Part 2, for example, you were compensated with a bonus that reflected your hard work that you put in to the game. And I am okay with that. And at the same time, I think it's okay that you can choose to not crunch, but you're not going to get a bonus for it. And I think that that's okay too. I do understand that there's a little bit of like a culture thing where people almost feel like they're being forced to do it. But at the same time, it's like, bro, if you don't want to work like that, then just get a job somewhere else. Because like I know even in my job, I work more than 40 hours a week.
Right.
And I'm a salaried person. I don't get paid extra for that. Right. But at the end of the year, my boss usually gives me a decent bonus, and it makes me feel good about myself and all of that. And I think that type of thing is even, I don't think the company should take advantage of people. You should be compensated for what you're doing. But at the same time, it's like, I think that it's relatively common in the creative industry for these types of things to require that kind of passion. Like if you don't have the passion to put extra work in, it might be difficult I'm not saying it's impossible, but it might be difficult to create such a amazing piece of art at the end of it.
I think it goes both ways. I agree with you 100%. I also think that there is an argument to be made that a lot of times these people maybe got into what they're doing because there was a passion for making games, and now it's just become a job, and they just want to go home after a day of work. You know what I mean? Like there are people probably that don't have their heart in it, who've been doing it for 15 years, 20 years, and they're just like, I got a family and kids waiting for me back home. Like I used to love to do this all the time, but I can't leave now because this is my job. But I hate crunch because I don't get to see my family. I don't get to whatever, the money's fine, but I've been doing this so long that I don't need any money. And there's probably some of that.
I'm sure there is, but this is like one of those things where, and I'm sure that it doesn't make it.
If you're a new employee, dude, you should have to do crunch. Because like you got to test you should be you should want to impress your bosses, and you should want to do your best job, and you should want to go in and leave your mark. Like it's like I think about bands who are like wildly successful, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's music industry; it's a lot of fun. That would be the greatest thing ever." But no one sees the work that goes on behind the scenes, all those undocumented hours of a band trying to write a song or work on a bridge. And like the time it takes to get to and from practice, or the time it takes to write the stuff behind scenes, or the time it takes to book the shows, or the time it takes, you know what I mean? Like you don't get paid for any of that. That's just drive. That's just drive and ambition. And it is a creative field. And I don't think that it's much different in the video game industry, where I think a lot of that industry is fueled by that drive from people who are artsy fartsy people. I mean, that's just, but there are a lot of math people and code writers and, people writing programs, and, there's a lot of that other stuff going on too. Marketing directors and stuff that maybe they don't have that artistic drive because maybe their job is payroll.
And those people probably don't have to crunch. But I want to kind of put a cap on this by saying that I also realize that there are probably a lot of studios and publishers that utilize crunch as a means of taking advantage of their employees. And at the same time, when we're in an industry where everybody's tightening their belt, layoffs are bigger than ever, jobs are harder and harder to find, it's easier and easier for these billion-dollar companies to take advantage of their employees with methods like this. And so I don't want to get it twisted that just because I think crunch is okay in some scenarios means that I think it's okay in all scenarios. Because like I said, I do think it's a two-way street. I do think that developers, if they crunch, should be compensated for it. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I also think that it's okay to push your developers to have the kind of passion that it's required to make these great products. So, do I think that a studio should have to crunch for a fucking year? No. But maybe for like the month leading up to launch or something, that's probably not a bad thing. And let's be clear. Studios like Naughty Dog, all those fucking developers, aside from like a core crew that have to maybe push like a day one update or something like that, all those fucking developers get like a month off after the game launches. So it's not only that they're getting compensated, but they also take these huge vacations after they ship a product. So, not every developer is like that. Not every studio is like that. There's obviously bad actors in the space that make this kind of a talking point. But I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater with the whole crunch thing. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that. And I figured you would have similar, if maybe not exactly the same views as me, just because you come from an artistic background with the music stuff. So
yeah, dude. Sometimes you got to shoulder down, dude.
Anyway, news point number 2. I'm curious what you think about this. Apparently, 4A Games, noted developer behind the Metro series, is set to reveal the new game called Metro 2039 on Thursday during an Xbox live stream. Now, chances are it's an Xbox live stream. It's probably coming to PlayStation, but we don't know that for sure. But chances are it's coming to PlayStation. All the other Metro games have come to PlayStation. I don't know why this would be exclusive to Xbox now of all times. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I loved Metro 2033. I loved Metro Last Light. Completely bounced off of Exodus. I didn't like the open world format. There's something about that game that just didn't jive with me. I don't know what 2039 is going to be like. I hope it's a little bit more linear. I hope it's a little bit more similar to 2033 or Last Light. Yeah. But I'm open to it. So talk to me. Tell me what you're feeling about this.
I'm excited, man. I love the Metro games. I will agree that Exodus was my least favorite, but I still thought it was a fine game. I thought it was good. There were some really cool parts in that game. Again, I think you and I just both agree so much on this open world stuff, this open world push. I would much rather have a tailored, linear-ish experience. It was kind of sandboxy. I mean, it wasn't entirely open world. You had sandbox open worlds in Metro Exodus. But I feel like it's harder to tell a story. And I mean, some games like Fallout and stuff do really well, but when it comes to Metro, I think that game is perfect the way they had it with Last Light and 2033. And I hope they revisit that with some of the feedback they get from Exodus. I didn't look at the reviews to compare the three together, but I really think that those first two games were, man, they were good. Specifically,
Last Light I thought was chef's kiss. I do think that I was like smoking a joint there. That was a little bit weird. I do think that 2033 was good, but it was much more of like a survival horror kind of game. It was a little bit less actiony. Last Light was it gave you a little more resources. There was a little more gunfighting. But I don't know. We shall see. All right. The next news point here comes from the website MP First, and it seems like they have spied some casting calls for Kojima's new project Physint with Sony, and they listed like it's basically like there's a hijacked bus or some shit like that, and they listed a bunch of different types of characters that they want to have on the bus during this scene or whatever. But most notably, they're looking for a character that is quiet, intense, and confident in a psychotic way. Also described as, quote, Mads Mikkelsen in Hannibal, but with flair. So this, to me, sounds like it's just going to be probably a typical... This character, this Mads Mikkelsen type character is probably going to be a classic Metal Gear style villain that is probably maybe the one hijacking this bus or whatever that they're talking about. And I am excited for this game, but we know like they're doing a casting call, so this game is like at least probably fucking 5 years away. So there's really no point in talking too deeply about it. It's interesting that they described looking for a Mads Mikkelsen type when Mads Mikkelsen was in Death Stranding.
He died, didn't he?
I mean, in the first one he died, but I don't.
No, in real life.
Oh, in real life he died. He might have. I don't know if he did or not. But anyway.
No, he hasn't died.
I was gonna say I didn't think he died. So
who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the guy from Kill Bill that died.
Oh, yeah. So are you excited for this game? Like, I don't know how you feel about Metal Gear in general. If you're excited for Kojima to go back to, I don't want to say go back to the well, but go back to that sort of type of game that he is so well known for.
Yeah.
Or are you kind of digging his sort of divergence into the weird with games like Death Stranding?
I love his weird shit. And the guy I was thinking of was Michael Madsen, not Mads Mikkelsen. Think how close I was.
Yeah, easily confused.
I think whatever Kojima does is going to be just fine. I don't think we really have to worry about it being bad. It's just a matter of personal preference and taste and what you're looking for. So I mean, I hope it's more linear, and I hope it's just kind of like this cooler. I'm looking for linear and easy, dude. I don't want another whatever the heck I just played of his. Death Stranding 2, which was amazing, but we're getting Witcher, we're getting a new GTA. Dude, I don't want another big open world.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get that with Physint. I think we're going to get something that's pretty straightforward with story and some interesting things. But
I mean, Metal Gear 5 was open world, but I don't know that they're going to, necessarily do that with this. I hope not. I hope it's a little tighter experience.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We won't know for a while. And I guess we'll just have to leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
So
sounds good.
Anyway, we don't have to dig into this too deeply. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Pete Hines, who was a notable he was like the president or vice president of marketing and sales at Bethesda, the publisher Bethesda, and that sounds like a lame title, but he's famous because he was always on stage for like their press conferences, and outside of Todd Howard, he's the most famous probably guy from Bethesda. And he left Bethesda shortly before the launch of Starfield, and everyone was kind of wondering why someone like that, like a notable dude from this notable publisher, would just kind of bounce. There's a lot of speculation on the fact that he didn't like the way things were going or whatever. Well, apparently he gave an interview recently talking to the journalist Kirk McKeand, who I looked him up. I think does work for like game kind of pieces for publications like Newsweek and things like that. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, Pete sat down with an interview with this guy, and he kind of laid it out basically the way everyone kind of thought about it, was just that Microsoft bought them, and then just shit kind of the culture. I don't want to say the culture fell apart so much as that the way the business was being run kind of disintegrated a little bit. And I do wonder, this kind of makes me think a little bit about, I think one of the quotes that he had was something along the lines of like, they would have meetings, like high level meetings about the publisher and how things would go. And he said you could, in like, to paraphrase, it was almost like they would have these meetings and people would just say shit, but just nothing would ever happen. It was like there was no guiding force anymore after Microsoft took over. And for the most part, Bethesda has gotten off unscathed, although I think they have had some layoffs over the last few years. But I do wonder about this type of thing from a Sony perspective. Sony's been kind of slashing studios recently, and most notably recently they did Bluepoint, and they did that Dark Outlaw studio that never even released a fucking game. And so I'm a little bit curious about if this is just like the side effect of these huge companies just bloating and buying studios and not being able to control their entities because they're just too big and they don't know how to control them, and they don't know how to create. Like, it's tougher to be creative when there's no guiding hand, and it's hard to have a guiding hand whenever the company is so big. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to throw it out there because I think I've always thought that Pete Hines was kind of a cool dude. So if you're interested in this article, maybe give her a read over at I think it was called like Fireside Chats or something like that, but the side was spelled with a Z, I think. So I don't know. Any input? Crickets from Fred. He's using Discord to... This is what happens when Fred doesn't have to run the show anymore, is he finds all the fucking widgets in Discord that he can use during the podcast, which is fine. Adds a little flair to the show. It adds a little Mads Mikkelsen in Hannibal, but with flair. Anyway.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky has added a Pokemon-esque update that allows you to capture and battle creatures you find in the game. Now, the only reason I put this in here, because it's like, whatever, fucking No Man's Sky. It's around forever. It's cool that it's made a comeback, blah, 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 but they've been pounding out awesome updates for like 5 years now, and it's getting a little bit boring saying like how good the game's doing. But anyway, the cool thing about this that I thought was neat is that, and I'm gonna pull this up because I want to read the tweet verbatim. So, okay. So like 2 years ago, this guy on Twitter named Gothalion tweeted at No Man's Sky. He tweeted, "The only thing missing from No Man's Sky is the Pokemon update. Let me catch, train, and battle creatures I find. Put an arena in the anomaly. You can do it, Sean." He's talking about, obviously, Sean Murray, the creator of, the head of the studio that made No Man's Sky, which is Hello Games, I believe. And so they did this update. They put this in the game. There's like an arena, and you can fucking capture creatures, and you can battle each other, and blah, blah, blah. And what I thought was cool is that Sean Murray went back and replied to this tweet from 2 years ago and just said, "We did it," replying to this guy's tweet when they released this update, which I thought is so cool. Like, it's kind of a neat thing for not only a developer to see something, and maybe this was a thing that they were thinking about, and this guy just happened to tweet something similar to what they were already planning or whatever, but the fact that he noticed this tweet from years ago, kept it in his mind, they do this thing, and then he reaches back out to this person. It's very simple and it's very subtle, but I bet, like, dude, this dude's gonna carry it with him for a long time. And I think that that's kind of a cool thing for a developer to do. And whether or not the update was solely because of what this guy tweeted, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, developers get ideas from all over the place. Why not this guy's tweet about fucking catching creatures and battling them in an arena? I think that's kind of neat. It does kind of tell me that, like, No Man's Sky is just throwing the fucking kitchen sink at shit now, you know, with, like, the kind of updates that they're doing. But it's cool at the same time. So, what do you think about this?
Nah, I think it's nice. It's probably kind of cool for somebody to be... somebody's ideas to be validated or to be heard on. I mean, the only way this could ever happen is just through the internet. I mean, you know, the fact that you have some of these developers give their supporters such access is incredible to me. In fact, dude, something similar happened to me recently on a different level. I hit up a singer-songwriter. His name's John Moreland. He's fantastic on Instagram. Just send him a DM, dude. And I was like, yo, man, your record, Birds in the Ceiling, is just fantastic. I know you kind of got, you know, I knew that, like, it wasn't received very well, but when I was listening to it recently, I was like, holy shit, this record's good. So I felt the need to reach out to him. And he's like, man, you don't know how much that means to me. Thank you so much. And then, like, 2 or 3 weeks later, I was like, yo, dude, I said, I've been writing for a long time. I want to share some lyrics with you I just came up with. Are you down? And he goes, yeah, dude, just throw them my way. As I threw him some new lyrics of mine, and he wrote back, and he goes, dude, those are fire. And he was, like, really supportive. And I was like, man, like, it's just cool when people in a position to hear their audience or to have a little back and forth, as long as you're being respectful. The internet does something really cool like that if you have the right people involved. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the guy with Hello Games could be a complete egotistical maniac freak guy, but like you said, the fact that he remembered that tweet, maybe it did inspire him. I'm sure the licensing and stuff with Pokemon was not, I guess it wasn't Pokemon exactly, but it's just like they didn't have to do any licensing, I don't think, but just the effort, I guess, that he would have had to put through. You know what I mean? Like, to do something like that. And then to give that guy a little nudge or a poke and be like, hey, man, Get it. Enjoy.
Yeah.
That's just cool, man. It's just cool. It's just being good people. I like that. I like that story.
That's kind of similar to the way that I feel. I didn't know you had that little interaction with John Moreland. That's cool.
Yeah, I did. I've talked with him a few times now. It's cool, man. He left his guitar. He had a photo of his guitar out in the wintertime hanging on his wall, his acoustic. And I hit him up and I was like, yo, man, I said, I gotta know, like, aren't you worried about the humidity and stuff in the wintertime? And he wrote me back. He goes, you know, man, if I'm being honest, I haven't thought a whole damn lot about that. And he goes, I just don't really ever have problems with mine. And he goes, if I have an idea, he wrote back, he goes, if I have an idea, I don't want to have to go find my case and open it up and pull a guitar. He goes, I just want to be able to grab my guitar. And I said, dude, I get it. So yeah, we've chatted, chit-chat a little bit back and forth on Instagram, just DMs back and forth. And he seems like a really sincere dude, like a good dude. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. You know what's not awesome, or that's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose, is Sony announced a new player-based program where you can enter a contest to be scanned into Sony first-party games. The first one is going to be Gran Turismo 7, and I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I think it's supposed to be like maybe like the, you know how whenever you in Gran Turismo 7, when you pick like the events or the races or whatever, there's like the pictures of the people that come up that are like the ones that are doing the race or whatever. And I think it might just be that. It's like, oh, fucking, you gonna take my picture and put it in the game? It's like, what's special about that? But apparently, a lot of people are not down with this. I'm sure a lot of people think it would be really cool, but it's like,
I don't. Cool, dude.
I don't know that I don't necessarily assume everything is nefarious, but like, you are essentially giving them carte blanche with your likeness to a certain degree.
What if you give them this opportunity, these permissions and this disclosure, whatever you want to call it, and like 2 years later, like
you're like the fucking child molester in the new Last of Us game.
No, what if it's, no. I thought we were going to the same place. We weren't. What if, like, in real life, you were like famous now, and now Sony has your image likeness that you've given them permission to use in anything, and they can just make money off you.
Yeah. That would be that's an interesting thought experiment. I didn't think about it from that perspective. I think that's an interesting thing. I have to imagine, I don't know how the law works. I'm not what you would call a lawyer. But I would think that there would be such a disparity in value between the beginning and the end of that agreement that you would probably be able to sue for some kind of royalty. But I guess I don't know. I mean, I would think that you would have because here's the thing is that, like, they could literally be like, well, you don't want to sign this, you don't get to do it. And it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, how many people are really going to have to worry about that? But it would be really interesting if, like, you signed in to do this and then you became like a fucking Instagram model or some shit like that, and people found you because of this or something, and now you're making $1 million a year on Instagram, and Sony can be like, well, now we have, I'm just saying names, now we have, you know, Sydney Sweeney in freaking Gran Turismo, you can race her. And it's like, I don't know about that, but I don't know. I just think as a whole, it's kind of a neat, but altogether, I think there are other things that they could be using their time and money on. Now, granted, this probably costs them basically nothing, but I just think it's kind of a weird thing to do. It'd be one thing if it was like a program where anybody could do it. Where, like, if you could scan your likeness in and then it was a new feature of, like, first-party games where you could make yourself be in the game or something. That would be cool. Kind of like, remember those old EA games where you could, like, scan yourself in and it fucking made you this, like, homunculus? but like you could technically scan yourself in. Like maybe something like that, but better. But no, this is like one person's going to get flown out to California to their visual arts studio. They're going to scan you in, and then you're going to just be like a static character in fucking Gran Turismo. But who knows? Maybe it'll grow into something bigger. But it just seems like a weird kind of thing to me.
Yeah. That is a little interesting, man. I don't know. It's whatever.
It's whatever, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It would be cool. I still remember when we had Paul Dean in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. It was the best thing that had ever happened on that PlayStation. We'd spent hours and hours touring, and there was like a face maker, and we made Paul Dean to a T. Like, it looked it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So there is something really cool about having people in video games that are either yourself or buddies, and it's funny. I just would imagine they'll probably invent some sort of app where you can scan yourself with an app. But the other thing is that they've done this for Hasbro, did this for Faces. So you could like buy up and have special order G.I. Joe characters with heads that are supposed to look like you, but none of them looked good.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, I'm not paying $50 for that. But anyways, moving on, like you said.
So the last news point here, and it's kind of just maybe a little teeny conversation, is it looks like Microsoft is improving their achievement system with features like this is quote from Microsoft's Twitter. Quote, new animations and icons. Quote, hide games from your achievement list, and quote, highlight your 100% completed games. So the three things that they highlighted in their tweet, there might be more than this, but the three things they highlighted were new animations and icons for the achievements, hiding games from your achievement list, and highlighting your 100% completed games. I assume like you could put it at like the top of your trophy list or like maybe on your profile somehow or something like that. And this is for Microsoft achievements. The reason why I brought this up is I'm wondering if there's anything that you would like to see improved about the Sony trophy system, because it hasn't changed pretty much since it started. And I don't know if there's anything about trophies that you would want to see any differently. I know like with the PS5 they did add a little bit of like animations and some sounds for when you get things like a platinum. But I don't know that they've really changed anything else outside of that. Like personally for me, like I think the trophies are cool. I wish there was a little bit more attention paid to what constitutes a gold, silver, or bronze trophy in terms of like how hard it is to get. Because some of these trophies I feel like I'm getting, it's like I've spent fucking 5 hours grinding this trophy and it's like a bronze or something. And outside of that, the only thing that I could think of that I would like is maybe I like the idea of being able to highlight like the most recent platinum trophy you got or something like that. But for me, it's like I want them to find a way to make my trophy achievements feel like present better, public facing, more than just my trophy score. Because I don't know if you remember, they fucking ruined the trophy score a few years ago, where now it's like, instead of having a trophy score of like 18, my trophy score is like 357.
Yeah.
Which is like fucking stupid. I don't have any idea like what does it even mean anymore now that my trophy score is 357. So like it's kind of like how I feel about basketball. Like I don't have any problems with the game of basketball other than the fact that I don't really like watching it because they score so much in the game that it's like, what does a score even really mean? It's just a war of attrition, basically. So, like, with it, I feel the same way about the trophy score now, where it's like, fuck, if I've got a trophy score of 1,000, what does it really fucking mean? I have no idea. Like, what's the difference between 357 and 358? I don't know. So, like, before when my trophy score was like 18, it was like a big deal when it went to 19. And I don't know. So I don't know if you have any thoughts about this or not.
I don't think they need to do anything with trophies or achievements or whatever. I just think that, like, I don't know. I don't use Microsoft anyways, but I don't think Sony needs any kind of updates to the... I mean, do they feel antiquated? But yeah, but that's maybe part of the appeal to me at this point. Like, it's the one thing that hasn't changed for a while, and I kind of like the consistency with how they work. I understand them. The trophy score is a little weird, but I don't ever look at that. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. You know, like you said, it's just so ambiguous. I think the trophies in themselves, I mean, would it be nice what constitutes a platinum? What games should have to have them? What games shouldn't? I'm not barbaric about finding and getting trophies. Now, if there's a game like Uncharted or something, I'll play it through once in a year, maybe twice in a year, and slowly pick away at some of the trophies. Like, I've got that G.I. Joe game. I've got a few trophies left. It gives you something to come back for if it's something you're really invested in. I'm not going to be, dude, not at my age. I'm 44. I'm not going to be a diehard trophy hunter. I could care less, really. It's just kind of fun to see them pop up and the clever names. And you know, you pause the game, you go in, and you find, well, how did I do that? What constituted me earning that trophy? It's pretty easy to find that right off the jump. So, I mean, they're never a focus for me, so I could care. I really, I honestly couldn't care less.
Yeah, I will say they were onto something with the Stars program. I'm kind of sad that they killed that.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to seen a little bit more trophy integration there, where it's like they used to have a way where you could like cash in your trophies for like PSN points and stuff. Like,
yeah,
there was some cool stuff that they tried, and then they just, I don't know if people didn't use it or they were getting fleeced on it or something, but they decided to quit. And
yeah.
I just, that it's really is a bummer. I think the Stars program could have been more successful if it was actually integrated with the console. They never integrated it with the console, which is fucking stupid. It's like, why would you even do this if you're not going to have it on the console? It was only on your phone. So
it's definitely kind of weird that they didn't integrate it like that.
One thing I think is kind of sus about this Microsoft shit is like, why are you letting people hide games from your achievement list? Like, unless do we really, are people really that? I guess maybe some people are just, especially younger people, might be a little bit embarrassed by some of the stuff that they play, and they don't want people to see that or whatever. But like, I don't know. I think there's certain things like if you're a journalist or something and you're reviewing games, like, you shouldn't be allowed to hide your trophies. Like, it should be part of your credentials for what you're doing. And so maybe I'm thinking about it from that angle more or less. But, dude, I mean, I'm the type of person where it's like, dude, I'm not going to hide. We have a PlayStation podcast that's got 419 episodes. And if you looked at my trophy list, you would think that, like, I'm not this hardcore gamer that's been fucking doing a podcast for whatever 13 years. I'm just a guy that plays video games, but I'm proud of the stuff that I've done, and I don't see any reason why people shouldn't be able to see the games that I'm playing if they're listening to me talk about video games on this platform. So I don't know, but I mean, that's a philosophical question that I think people might have differing opinions on. But yeah, so with that, that's all we have for this 419th episode of PlayStation. This is awesome, a PlayStation podcast. I am going to get some food. I got to do some uploading. I got to make a thumbnail and stuff, and not a big deal.
Not jealous.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not. I try to prep as much of it ahead of time as I can so that I could just kind of dump the uploads and go. But it can be difficult, especially when you're doing it on a weeknight. So that's not why we're ending the show. We're just ending the show because I'm hungry, and also we have nothing else to talk about. So with that out of the way, Fred, do you have anything else to say to the listeners before we cut this one?
I'm happy to be back for a full episode. I think I might have was back already for a full episode, but to have my mic back in place to be on the show, chit chat about games. Thanks for doing the notes, Jake. Thanks for listeners for tuning in. Thanks for writing in, Prescripten and Ryan. We apologize for the delay on Ryan's message. We'll be back at it now, I think, for a while.
When we do the podcast with Ryan, there'll be there'll be a delay, like we're talking to the fucking Artemis 2 Integrity shuttle when it's circling the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, think about. I mean, what kind of delay? Technically, there should be a pretty long delay.
I don't know that. I actually don't think it'll be that bad because the internet's pretty fucking fast. But, dude, I don't know. Like, I actually
realize how fast that has to be.
It's pretty fast, dude. The it's all fiber and shit now. But anyway, that said, I did watch the Artemis splashdown on Friday. That's what I did for like my whole Friday evening. I just watched the fucking NASA feed. It took way longer than I expected it to. Let's just say that. But I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous because that's like the most dangerous. Like takeoff and landing are the two most dangerous parts of the whole fucking mission. And I remember when I was in high school, waking up to the Columbia shuttle fucking exploding on reentry and how like big of a deal that was. And so watching this, like when they were doing because there's like the blackout when they re-enter the atmosphere, and then like the communications come back and they're like waiting for like the shuttle to like radio them, and like the whole time I'm just like getting into it, like I'm just kind of nervous for them.
Yeah.
And
they're on fire inside, who knows.
And they were like totally like everything was like, and I was, dude, science is so fucking crazy, man. I cannot believe they like yesterday they're like yeah, so the shuttle the shuttle is going, or not the shuttle, the capsule is gonna splash down at 8:07 p.m. and like 27 seconds on Friday. And I'm just like, how the fuck do they know that? And sure as shit, it like hit it to the fucking second almost, maybe even to the second exactly. The shuttle hit the fucking hit the freaking ocean. It's unbelievable to me that they're able to like. It's amazing. It's amazing that they calculated all this stuff, and it was just so perfect. So that said, super stoked that they were able to do that. I cannot wait. I love this stuff, man. I don't talk about like space and airplanes and shit like that a lot, but like
here we go.
I'm like a low key just like hyper nerd about some of this stuff. I don't sit there and like research it all the time or whatever, but when a big event happens, I'm really stoked about it. So I'm super pumped for a couple years from now when we land on the moon. I think it's going to be really fucking cool. I love
these cameras. It's going to be awesome.
I know, man. I some of the images they sent back were just real fucking dope. I would love to go to space. Like if I was like old and they're like, bro, you can live another 10 years or you can get in a fucking space shuttle and you can go to space and you could see space and you might not come back, I'd be like, launch me to the fucking moon, man. If I come back, I come back and live another 10 years. If I die in transit, so be it. Now, obviously, it would depend where my life was at the time, but I just think about it. I think it'd be so cool. But anyway, with that said, let's end the show. This has been episode 419 of PS This Is Awesome. Come comment on our website, or not our website, we don't have a website. Comment on Patreon or YouTube. Send us an email. Fucking iTunes ratings, all that kind of shit. Join us on Patreon if you want. But otherwise, like Valorant, Vanquish, and Velocity, PS This Is Awesome.
This is awesome.